Somewhere beyond the recesses of time and space, two podcasters are set adrift in a machine, picking up transmissions of movies that are forgotten but not gone.
Welcome to Movie Memory Machine, the only podcast about forgotten movies that can only serve 4 people at a time, so, you all figure out who gets to listen and when. I am your host, Landon Solano, joined always by my co-host, Truman Capps. Truman, it's good to serve you.
Landon, it would be great to be served if I didn't have to fill out all this insurance paperwork first. So I don't know. I have to remember my fucking provider code, which is somehow different from my member number. But once I get that sorted out, I think we can really get the podcast rolling.
Do you think that's part of membership?
I mean, I think that getting a thing shoved into the very skin of your arm so you can get admitted to the Hotel Artemis, that seems actually worse than having to remember my provider code.
Agreed. I'm going to take a hardline stance here, regardless of what happens in the future, to say, you know what? I'm good without implants.
Yeah.
If that's the stance my grandparents would have taken against smartphones, I don't need that in my life. And this is my version saying, I don't need implants. There's nothing good that I can see that I would need in my life that comes from implants.
I don't know, Landon. I'm thinking of, what if there was an ocular implant that allowed you to watch movies harder than ever before? Are you sure you'd say no?
No, because then I don't trust the technology to not record everything I see at all times.
I mean, okay. I don't know. There's got to be a carrot big enough, though. Every man has his price. I'll find yours eventually. What if, a hand implant that allowed you to pet Bela even more effectively than ever before?
No, because then I want to be able to feel her soft fur on my hand. I don't want to put any kind of technology between me and that sensory experience.
Okay, but I'm saying, what if the technology makes that experience even better?
It can't. It would be superficial. I don't think it could.
That's true. We haven't invented technology that can make petting a cat better than it already is. Just the vanilla version.
Anything you put between your hand and your sensory experience of touch and a thing you're touching, particularly Bela, it's going to create a barrier between not just the softness, but the love that comes out of it.
So you're into raw dogging that pussy, I guess. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. That's where we are.
I'm sorry. Sorry. I was sitting there, you were saying it, and you were setting it up, and I'm like, I have to think of another thing to say besides that. There has to be something else, but he's putting too many of the things in place, and if I don't say that awful thing, I'm going to spend the rest of my life regretting it, and then I'm going to have to go be a weird nurse who lives in an abandoned building that's also a hospital for some reason.
The good thing is as editor, you have the ability to both have experienced it and remove it from the final episode.
Yes, I can perform a clean incision. Audience, you may not even know what Landon and I are referring to right now. Maybe you didn't hear me say a thing that a man of my age and station should not be saying.
Oh my God, Truman, today the machine has made us watch Hotel Artemis from 2018. Can you patch us up with some nanobytes and 3D print us a synopsis?
I mean, I had a whole bag of nanobytes earlier, so I skipped lunch. In the distant future of 2028, Los Angeles is engulfed in violent water riots. Taking advantage of the chaos, stick-up man Sherman, played by Sterling K. Brown, robs a bank with his brother Lev, played by Brian Tyree Henry. As they escape, Lev is wounded in a shootout, so Sherman takes him to Hotel Artemis, a futuristic hospital for criminals hidden in an abandoned hotel in the middle of downtown. The Artemis is run by a world-weary nurse, played by Jodie Foster, and her orderly, Everest, played by Dave Bautista. Over the course of one crazy night, Sherman tries to keep his brother alive while mingling with the other guests, including the deadly and beautiful assassin Nice, played by Sofia Boutella, the foul-mouthed arms dealer Acapulco, played by Charlie Day, and crime kingpin the Wolf King, played by Jeff Goldblum. As riots and chaos consume the streets outside, the guests at the Artemis simmer and clash, especially when the nurse breaks protocol to admit a wounded police officer, played inexplicably by Jenny Slate.
Your synopsises are getting longer and more poetic.
Well, thank you, Landon. I have actually been working in a writing field once again, so I can't separate the line between the podcast I work on for my day job and the podcast I work on for free.
All I'm suggesting is maybe you submit these to IMDb under their plot synopsises, because what is currently there for most films is often incomprehensible.
Yes, but that is in keeping with the rest of the content on IMDb, specifically the trivia for some of the movies and the goofs.
Hotel Artemis was written and directed by Drew Pearce, his directorial debut,
Woo!
but he has previously co-written Iron Man 3 and Mission Impossible, Ghost Protocol? What are the Missions Impossible?
I always default to assuming that it's Ghost Protocol. He wrote Rogue Nation, in fact.
Rogue Nation. This was composed. I want to bring out the composer, Cliff Martinez, who previously this season had done Wicker Park.
Oh, wow. If only this movie was edited like Wicker Park, all of the different elevators that they get into, and the screen is split into threes.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember the music in this movie.
Yes, you are.
Do you remember the music in this movie?
Only because the second time I watched it through a Cliff Martinez lens, I did.
Tell me about your Cliff Martinez lens. Where do you pick that up?
At the composer store.
I would have said Lens Crafters.
During Wicker Park, we had mentioned that the score for that sounded like Radiohead music.
Yes, or I think I said it sounded like the music you hear in the mall attached to a casino, but yes.
That's right, yes. And I think this is... Am I dunking on Cliff Martinez? I kind of am, I think, a little bit.
You're allowed. He got paid. You can dunk on him.
He did, yeah. I find his work to be so... Well, okay, I shouldn't say that. In Wicker Park and this seems to be so LaCroix flavored. It's so, like, it almost feels like a sketch of an idea that it should become.
The ghost of a movie score.
The ghost of a soundtrack, yeah. It is like, here, there's a lot of, like, squealing guitars, but played real kind of low-key at moments where you want to emphasize something, and kind of, like, low, droning, kind of clockwork beating, you know. Yeah, not quite industrial, but just enough to, like, have a subconscious sense of momentum, even when things aren't really moving.
Yeah, even when it's a movie about a bunch of people in literally one building the entire time.
Yes. Yeah, so I don't know. Cliff Martinez, I guess you've worked with Steven Soderbergh, you've worked with Nicholas Winding Refn, like, maybe you've got some good stuff in you. Wicker Park and Hotel Artemis might not be a good representation of what you bring to the table.
Yeah, I mean, and also, but it doesn't I don't think the music distracts from the experience. I mean, I wasn't even really aware of it until now. So, I mean, sometimes a movie just needs something to be playing in the background so people don't notice that there's no music, you know?
No, agreed. It's not bad music, necessarily, but, and maybe it's fitting for what this movie ended up becoming, which is just, like, a solid... somewhere between a 6 and a 7 the whole way through. It's just kind of there and consistent.
Yes. Okay. This is interesting to get this. I see the ways that our opinions converge and the way they diverge as well. We've talked more about the score for Hotel Artemis than anyone ever has, including Cliff Martinez.
Well, why don't we talk about the budget and box office for Hotel Artemis?
Tell me. I'm interested to know.
This film was released wide into theaters on June 8th, 2018. Released by Global Road Entertainment. Yes, your reaction that the folks at home cannot see, squinty-eyed and tilted head like, who the fuck is that? If you also, like me, saw the logo at the beginning of this movie with a bunch of international languages kind of conforming into an orb, and then Global Road Entertainment kind of emerges from it. did you have the same reaction as me going, oh, is this going to be an international co-produced film and all of the baggage that comes with that?
Yeah. I want to be very clear. We have no problem with stuff that comes from outside the United States. It's just that movies that are primarily financed by weird international production companies you haven't heard of tend to be a certain kind of way, and you just want to know what you're getting into.
Yeah, I mean, that's a whole loaded conversation that we don't have to get into today, but like, there are films that are made for international audiences. I think the Fast franchise clearly is a huge example of that, but something like The Meg is an international cast, and I think there's an interesting conversation to be had about the way those films are made with an international audience in mind during the like conception of them, because they intentionally do very simplistic dialogue and simplistic stories so that they translate better over subtitles. Yeah. And it brings into a question artistic expression and commerce and like the whole idea between art and this being a business. So luckily, I don't think that's the case here, but Global Road Entertainment is a company I think we need to earmark for future projects that we cover.
Okay, I'm so glad, because my research, I didn't look that hard at Global Road. Like their production company logo and just their name is generic enough that I forgot about it. I mean, you want to talk about a forgettable movie being forgotten because of its forgettable production company. So I don't know anything about them. I look forward to learning.
Why not just go into it now?
Let's go into it now. Let's not preview everything. Let's go into everything.
I'm learning, Truman. I preview so many bits. Now I'm just going to go into them.
Oh, yeah, this is perfect.
But I have to announce that I'm going to go into them before I go into them.
Old habits die hard.
Global Road Entertainment was a short-lived distribution company that was a merger between two other companies, Open Road and I Am Global. Okay. You always love a merger.
My favorite thing.
This Hotel Artemis was one of its final releases. You remember the conversation we had about the rocker last year?
Yeah, that was the swan song of Fox Atomic.
Yeah. Yep. That's what's happening here. Global Road Entertainment collapses in 2018 following this and one other release. So they went bankrupt, which I think impacted how much marketing support that they could provide.
A movie podcast that only covers the last movie a production company makes before going bankrupt. Would they cover 80% of the same movies that we cover on this one?
Perhaps. I have to admit, as someone who loves cinema and cinema history, the fact that I don't know what Canon's final release was kind of upsets me. I'm going to learn that after we're done recording here.
Well, also, I mean, one thing that I do know about you, Landon, is that you are the only person I've heard make a passionate case in favor of the movie Heaven's Gate, which killed United Artists. So we could bring something to the conversation.
Okay, all right. This had a production budget roughly around $15 million. I think because of Global Road going bankrupt, the production or the speculative marketing budget is probably pretty low. I'm going to say favorably $5 million.
Yeah. And, and I wonder, I mean, how much of that is even just included in various stars' contracts to, like, make noise about it on social media? Like, that may have been where most of this happened.
It's possible. It definitely had a poster campaign and a trailer campaign, because that's how I absorbed it when its limited push was happening. Yeah. But I don't think it went much beyond that. Like, they weren't paying Jay Leno. Was it Leno? No, I guess it was Fallon at the time. God, I've lost track of time. I don't think they went on Carson to talk about this. Jack Parr did not interview Jodie Foster.
No, I don't think that the Parisian discussion salons were abuzz with promoted content about Hotel Artemis.
Do you want to guess how many theaters, despite a bankrupt distribution company, how many theaters they were able to put it into?
Did they go 3,000 with this?
Do you think they could afford to?
I mean,
again, that's the question that I set out during the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare is, what does it cost to put it in theaters? I don't have an understanding of that cost yet, and it's research that I'm doing before the end of the season.
I kind of feel like maybe part of the reason they went bankrupt was just, oh shit, we're running out of money. Maybe Hotel Artemis is going to be a huge hit. Maybe everyone is gonna just go have Artemis fever and have to go to the Hotel Artemis to get it treated.
So you're saying over 3,000?
I'm gonna say 3,000 on the dot. Did they do 3,000?
On the dot. A little bit not that. Do you want to guess one more?
A little bit not that. So you're not even telling me which direction. Okay, I'm gonna say 2,750.
Final answer?
Final answer, Regis.
It comes in at 2,407.
Okay. So a lot less than the thing that I said. Okay, so
but still a pretty wide release for a bankrupt distribution company that has very little marketing push.
Sure, but it is a movie with a lot of names in it, headlined by a 2-time Academy Award-winning actress whose name, commands a lot of juice. And I mean, it's also this. While there is action in this movie, it is not an action movie of the same caliber as a Marvel movie or a Fast and the Furious. Right. You could categorize it more as like an action thriller. Yeah,
I don't even know that I would throw action in there. It's what would I describe it as? It's bizarre. It's a neo-noir with flavors of extreme violence.
Yeah, basically. I see it as sort of like a weird Howard Hawks, John Ford type movie resurrected into the 21st century in an interesting way.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, it's Ridley Scott directs a Billy Wilder script.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, how much more up our own asses as guys who like movies can we go here?
This movie, despite its bankrupt distributor and despite its massive release, only reached number 8 in the box office on its opening weekend.
Oh. Well. Oh, I hate to see that.
Not surprising.
I mean, no, not really. I mean, I feel like, I feel like I know how you promote this movie. I just don't really know what images from the movie you're going to show in a trailer that's really going to outperform the rest of the box office.
The trailer game next week is going to be interesting. It stays in the top 10 for 1 week, and on average, it stayed in theaters about 6 weeks.
Okay. What else was it up against?
All right, here is the top 10 box office for June 8th, 2018. I'm going to start from the bottom and go up. Life of the Party. I have no idea what that is.
That is Melissa McCarthy going to college.
Oh, you're right. Yes, correct. Good memory. Yes. Number 9, a movie I wish I'd seen in the theaters and I think is eating this movie's lunch a tiny bit. Upgrade.
Oh, Upgrade. That's a Blumhouse sci-fi movie.
Lee Winnell, it's basically what if John Marshall Green, who looks exactly like Tom Hardy, did a Venom but with nanobites.
Okay, so that's a guy who got implants, and based on the trailer, it seems like it went really well for him.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, he punches a bunch of people. That looks pretty cool.
He does punch a ton of people in that movie.
Yeah, but they all deserved it too.
Number 8, Hotel Artemis, as we're talking about. Number 7, Book Club. So, Hotel Artemis beat out by Book Club in its 4th week.
Ooh, the wine moms having their revenge. Toasting to Hotel Artemis's failure.
Number 6 in its 7th week. Oh no, in its 2nd week, Adrift, which is an STX Entertainment movie. You might remember them from our Playmobil episode.
I do. Playmobil, a movie that inexplicably didn't bankrupt that studio, even though they forced their theatrical partners to sell very cheap tickets to it. Adrift, I've never heard of it. What is Adrift?
Adrift is a romantic drama. I think it stars Shailene Woodley and Sam Claflin.
Oh, okay. I know one of those people. I would have guessed it was a horror movie about sharks or something. So what do I know?
What do you know? Coming in at number 5 in its 7th week, Avengers: Infinity War, just to set the time and place.
How long had that been in theaters at this point?
7 weeks.
7 weeks. Okay. Wow.
Yep. The movie I was seeing this weekend, number 4, Hereditary.
Oh. Yeah, that's a movie I will never see. Sorry, horror community.
Coming in number 3, Deadpool 2. Coming in number 2, Solo: A Star Wars Story. Okay. And coming in at number 1, Ocean's 8.
How long until we cover Solo: A Star Wars Story on this show? I have a lot of thick opinions about that movie.
I am curious. I mean, we gotta have a conversation with the machine at some point, because I feel like there are different kinds of forgotten movies. I don't think anyone forgets necessarily that that Solo exists, but they forget what happens in it. I couldn't tell you one thing that happens in it. Lando plays cards.
Yes, and
that's it. That's all I remember.
I remember there's a train chase. This is the thing. I remember two things. I remember two things about Solo: A Star Wars Story. I remember I liked it. I remember leaving the theater being pretty up on the movie, being like, that was a good time. I had fun. I liked it. And I remember there was a train chase. And we all know I love trains, so maybe that's why I liked it.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of it blends with Last Jedi in my head, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, that isn't. But you've probably ignited some discourse just by invoking its name.
Let's finish this out by saying domestically, this film makes on a $15 million budget with a $5 million speculative marketing budget, so $20 million total. It makes domestically $6.7 million.
Ouch.
And internationally, it makes $6.4 million.
I'm surprised it did about equally well overseas.
Yeah. Agreed. But that brings the total to $13.1 million.
And what's the exchange rate between dollars and dollars? Are they worth more?
Just be glad I didn't say doll hairs.
That would be. I would pay a lot of dollars to not get any doll hairs, because that's creepy as hell. Don't know where those have been. Did you see this shit?
No,
No.
I did not see this shit. I was aware of this film, kind of tangentially.
Yeah.
And I think in the back of my head, I had confused it with two other films. One of them being John Wick, and the other being this film called Gringo, which all came out the same year, and I didn't have interest in seeing really any of them, and they all just kind of blurred in my head.
Are you not a John Wick fan? Are you down on Wick?
I'm not down on Wick. I just recognize it's not my thing anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Last time I tried to catch up with the whole series. I rewatched the original. I watched the second one for the first time, and I hit a point where I'm like, I think I'm at an age where the coolness of guns has worn off, and it makes me just a little uncomfortable how comfortable we are with gun violence in movies. I know that makes me sound so fucking old, but it just, like, it hit me on like such an awkward level that it took away my enjoyment of the movie.
Yeah, it's hard to have fun, isn't it? It's hard to enjoy oneself in this world.
You're not the first to accuse me of that.
I've never seen the John Wick movies, which is a massive cinematic blind spot that I acknowledge, and I don't know. I'm just interested. I hear them being praised so much as great action movies, and I feel like they do have, there's like an aesthetic similarity kind of between them in this movie, I think, just in the way that, like, just in the look of them, what I see from the trailers, the kind of like gloss and color to it, and the style of the hotel that all the assassins operate out of versus this one. So I can see
the Continental, which is a huge part of that universe, and that they made a series out of that had failed. And I think what is interesting about that conversation is a lot of the criticism surrounding Hotel Artemis, and maybe this can transition us into talking about the film after you tell me whether you've seen it, is people had said this feels more like it would be suited to a series than it does a movie.
Wow.
And I think the Continental proves that wrong.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't seen the Continental either, so my blind spot grows and grows. That's a very interesting comment, because I feel like I have so much in the past several years been radicalized against things being made as shows when they clearly should be movies. Like, I've just seen so many different things that are this stretched out, bloated, 10 episodes of nonsense that could have been a really great hour and a half. And I don't know, thinking about this movie, maybe because I haven't learned the lessons of the Continental, I almost feel like maybe it could be good as a series. I don't know, but that might be where we diverge.
I have a very specific feeling about what this should be, and what this actually kind of is. But but we'll get to that into the discussion. Have you seen this film? Is this your first experience with it?
I haven't seen this movie. I remember trailers. I remember the poster at the bus stop outside my apartment. That is the long and short of it. Let's talk about this dang movie. Let's talk about this movie.
Okay. So, as you said in the premise, and I'll just kind of finish my thought so that we don't do this preview our bit for, foreshadowing 1 hour in the future. As you said, the idea here essentially is this is a hotel that has been converted into a hospital for criminals to go under the radar to get help and back out on the streets, set in a near future and where there's lots of riots going on in Los Angeles over water shortages and you name it. And it's a place that has rules.
Yeah.
There are 10 rules, and you can't break any of these rules if you want to be part of the Hotel Artemis.
Yes.
Now, I have big thoughts about rules. We'll get to those in a second.
You love rules.
To finish my previous thought, this concept exists, and it works fine as a movie.
Yeah.
I don't think I would be interested in watching it as a series. But then again, I'm not a TV person, so I'm not the person to wage that opinion. This concept does exist. And what I see this as, and why we're so familiar with it, is this is the backdrop of subplots of video games. This is a place you go to in, like, Cyberpunk 2077. Like, it's just part of the tapestry of a near-futuristic video game. And it's not, like, the main story. It's just a place you go sometimes.
Oh, God. You're speaking my language. You're talking about TV and video games in the same bit? Oh, my God. No, you're totally right. That's one of my biggest notes about this movie, is that the whole movie is just kind of side quests. There's not like a main thing going on. It's just a bunch of other characters you'd meet with their own miniature, smaller drama. You're on your way to the main quest marker, and then this guy comes out of an alley, and it's like, my brother got shot in this bank robbery. You have to get us to the Hotel Artemis. Drive us over there. Right. And then you get there, and there's more side quests, and then your mini-map is chock full of them.
You have to arduously take the guy's brother up to the main operating room, and then on your way back down to the taxi, because they make you play every single second of it.
Yes.
Charlie Day is standing outside a door proclaiming racial epithets that you're like, what the fuck is this guy about? Do I have to beat his ass?
Yeah.
And you go up to him, and he starts another side quest with you.
Yeah, and then this dialogue tree opens up where you have to make a deep character choice as to whether you encourage his racist rant or whether you take a stance against it. And inevitably, you're gonna be a good guy. You're gonna be the woke main character in the video game. Obviously, no one wants to be a dick, so you never get to explore that pathway. Anyway, this is just coming off my therapy list now. Yes, it does feel like, I don't know, the setting of this is both like they've thought through a lot of it. I feel like the setting is fleshed out really well in one way, but then it also feels like it's underbaked at the same time. Like
because all of those side quests aren't meant to be the main narrative. I feel like I guess I wouldn't call it cobbled together, but like it just doesn't congeal. Let me put it that way.
Yeah. I love it when my cobbler congeals. I would agree that it is just a bunch of sort of B plots in a plastic bag, all grouped together. The plastic bag is the kind of general main plot, which is the Hotel Artemis is a place and there's some riots happening, and then that contains everything else. I would say, though, I like all the little B plots in this movie.
I do too.
I like everything going on here. It's very interesting that there's all of these characters who I think are pretty decently fleshed out, and there's all these individual things they're doing that are kind of like rooted in character and character driven, which is all stuff that I complain about other movies not doing, so I like that.
Yeah.
It's just they've got so many nice little quick bites or quibbies of other stories competing for screen time that you never really can like root yourself in what's going on here.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Like, it's weird. In many ways, the script like is clever and knows it's clever and is trying to be clever.
Yeah.
Particularly in like little dialogue flourishes.
Yeah.
But on more fundamental levels, I feel like it lacks a kind of cleverness of like recognizing this is a tapestry story and not a kind of main through line story. And if it had taken more of a Jim Jarmusch approach, maybe not in like the kind of stoner vibe, but just like we're gonna hang out in the Hotel Artemis on this one night and see what happens on this night on Earth.
Yeah. Richard Linklater's Hotel Artemis.
Right. Like, it doesn't have to be that necessarily, but like it has the vibe and the thrust of a superstar led vehicle, but it is very much an ensemble piece, and I don't feel like it's supporting the ensemble-iness of it.
Yeah. A third. Yeah, I'm very flummoxed by this movie. I think I find myself thinking so much. It's I think similar to Solo, a Star Wars story. I have a lot of warmth for it, and there is so much minute to minute going on in here that I genuinely enjoy, especially compared to so many other forgettable movies. I have so much affection for all these different things in it, but I also know that the movie isn't working, but I'm still trying to figure out what specifically it is that's broken here.
I agree. It's hard to pinpoint it. And maybe we should start talking about some specifics, because I'm curious. Maybe we can discover that together.
Oh.
The final moments of this movie, I feel like really, really unravel in a way that I'm like, what the you have, if you don't know what you're trying to end on, like, then how do you know what the rest of your movie was about?
Yeah.
Which kind of maybe answers that question. But before we get there, let's start with the main player, Jodie Foster.
Yes.
Talk to me about your reactions to Nurse, capital N Nurse.
Yes, that's her name, just Nurse, or the Nurse. I loved her in this. I thought the nurse is great. I think that it would be so easy to play this character in kind of an annoying way. I mean, she is very much, she's no nonsense, got this kind of, hey, come on in, welcome to the Hotel Artemis, hey, it's not for free. She's got this, I don't know, like, no nonsense diner waitress kind of vibe to it. She's seen it all. People are bleeding out in front of her, and she's kind of just like making deadpan quips to them as she gets them hooked up to the sci-fi future medical devices.
She inserts them with nanobites and then serves them a side of a dill pickle.
Yeah, exactly. I want my nanobites smothered, covered, and chunked, please. Can you do that for me? I don't know. She has a dark past. We eventually learn in the course of the movie that she had a son who she assumes died of a drug overdose and was found at Santa Monica Pier, but we later learn was killed by Jeff Goldblum, the evil crime lord. And so, she's got that she's kind of running away from, and she drinks throughout the day and is agoraphobic, and I guess has never left the hotel in 20 years.
Has some pretty severe anxiety, even beyond those things. I mean, I guess it's a little bit PTSD from when she starts having flashbacks about her son. That kind of triggers the anxiety, but she has to like listen to anxiety courses. She has to like take a moment to sit and breathe in her own room for a bit just to kind of recenter herself.
I mean, truth be told, she has a pretty stressful job. Like,
True.
I also have an anxiety disorder, so I guess I'm not really the control group here, but I periodically have to just sit and silently breathe in my room to get my shit together, and I don't care for dying people on a daily basis.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not criticizing her. I'm just kind of pointing out the depths of this character and what she's kind of going through as she's doing all this kind of genre stuff. But interesting to note, two things. One, this is the first appearance in 5 years of Jodie Foster in a main role. Her previous one being Elysium.
Oh, yeah. Do
you hear the machine cranking that one, gearing up to set the coordinates for that year?
We all were rooting for Neil Blomkamp to be a thing. It was like, District 9, great, Best Picture nominee. What else you got? What, you gonna make that Halo movie? Is that gonna happen? When's it gonna happen, Neil Blomkamp? And it just faceplant after faceplant.
So it was 5 years. She had kind of like semi-retired outside of doing directorial stuff. Money.
That Black Mirror episode.
Oh yeah, that's right. And then after this, she kind of low-key retired again until she did Naiad. So it was I wouldn't call it an event, that she returned to the screen, but it was notable that, oh, Jodie Foster's coming back.
And that's what's part of so interesting about it, because she's putting her whole Oscar-winning ass into this movie that even on the page, for all of its charms as a script, you can tell is a mid-brow sci-fi action thriller. Like, this is not...
Yeah.
No one at any point in the process is looking at Hotel Artemis in development and thinking, this is award bait, this is prestige. This was always a certain kind of thing.
Well, I want to flag this for a second, because her directorial stuff aside, we're not going to reopen the conversation about Money Monster.
I think she's a better actress than director.
100% agree with that. I find very interesting about the trivia behind her accepting this is she received the script, and I think she would have known that Drew Pearce had 2 massive hits for writing.
Yes.
The Iron Man 3 and
Rogue Nation.
One of the Missions Impossible. Rogue Nation.
Rogue Nation.
I've already forgotten which one it was.
Well, what if a nation went rogue? Well, watch the movie, find out.
And so she receives this script, and it doesn't have any of the backstory in it. So, and it's written for her.
Wow.
And Drew Pearce does this thinking, oh, she'll never accept it. But she sees something in it and says, I will accept if you build out her backstory and give me something to act. So all of that is added at her request. But what I think this highlights is how keen of a business person she is as a superstar, looking at her career as her job, to go, what does this have commercial potential? Can I bring something to it? Will it bring something back to me? And looking at just the core concept without that backstory, going, there's something to this idea of a near futuristic hotel turned, criminal hospital. There's commercial potential in that, and I agree. I think that's very that's very forward thinking.
And also, I think this is a point in favor of your anti-auteur theory beliefs that this movie was a collaborative process. Jodie Foster, as a skilled actor and someone who's also a filmmaker herself, looked at this script and kind of felt like, hey, this needs something else. And I think that the nurse having some backstory and having this tie to the crime lord at the end certainly makes the character a lot more interesting than it would have been without it.
Absolutely.
I'm curious, though, without the nurse's kind of history and backstory, which is a fair part of the movie, just pages-wise. This movie is 85 minutes long when the credits start rolling.
Yeah.
How long is the script without that? Is this a 75-page script?
It's probably just a vastly different draft. Because, and to Drew Pearce's credit, once he... And I'm just going on the assumption that this trivia is true, but once you make the backstory of the nurse, once you insert that, he had the right instinct to go, okay, no, now this needs to be the emotional through line of the movie. It can't just be added in there to make Jodie Foster happy.
Yeah.
This now needs to be a thing. So I'd be surprised to see what the nurse's role was initially.
Yeah.
I could see more of the brothers being a thing and having to the whole idea of the stealing the diamonds from the Kingpin is just kind of amounts to nothing, and it's probably remnants of a previous draft.
Oh man, I love that we both have the same screenplay spidey sense for this stuff, because I was thinking the same thing. There's this thing in the movie where in the first scene, Sterling K. Brown and Brian Tyree Henry are doing a bank holdup, and they aren't able to get into the vault, so instead, everybody there are all household staff who have been sent by rich people in town to make deposits or withdrawals during the riots.
Zoom in a little bit on this, because I think this opening is fascinating. I was riveted. You've described your experience in the first 20 minutes of the first act of movies on the show so many times.
Yes.
And I think I had the Truman Caps experience here.
Wait, did you hoot? Did you holler?
I was honking like a goose.
You were? Wow, man. I wonder how long until we beat that goose to death and I start to cringe every time I hear it. So yes, the movie starts, we know the city has riots going on, and we start mid-bank heist. They've already held the people up. They've got all the people in the bank with their hands up.
Title card, June 21st. 2028.
Yeah.
10 years in the future of when it was made and released. And just a side note, I read a lot of sci-fi, and I think one of the hardest things to do is determine how far in the future you're going to set your story.
Yes.
Because even 10 years from like 2018 is not enough time for what they're depicting here. Like it needed to be maybe 25 years.
No, I'm looking at this movie in the year 2025 and thinking, honestly, seems like they've got the better future than we do. I mean, their availability of healthcare pretty good. Oh no, there's riots in LA. Has that only happened like 3 times in the past 8 years? Oh, the city's not entirely on fire. Seems like it's going pretty well for the Hotel Artemis folks.
But they have a plasma gun to break out of the bank vault at one point, and I'm like, really? You thought that was going to happen in 10 years?
You know, people were so much more optimistic back in 2018. You know, look, everybody's indoors together, nobody's wearing a mask. That's enough optimism for all of it.
They were wearing masks, and I love the design of their bank hold-up masks, which are this like kind of geometrical skull shaped sort of thing. And on one hand, I was like, I don't think fashion is going to be there for us to have those kind of cool ass masks at that, in 3 years time. But then I was like, well, maybe they just robbed it from like a music video set. Like maybe it was some of them work on like as a PA on a weekend video.
Yeah. Look, if you've watched any seasons of the show Squid Game, the masks that they're wearing look sort of geometrical, like the masks that the bad guys in Squid Game who are watching the Squid Game wear.
And one of the heist crew members is Father John Misty, so there is a connection to the music world.
Yes, absolutely. And also, Father John Misty's character, who gets shot almost immediately in the bank heist, is named P-22, after LA's favorite cougar who occasionally ate koalas at the LA Zoo. So, anyway, they're doing the bank heist. They cannot get into the vault, but then Sterling K. Brown notices that, everybody here, they're all gardeners, butlers, domestic staff who have been sent by rich people to withdraw all their assets before the rioters get to the bank. And so they basically tell everybody, okay, raise your hand if your boss is a millionaire, and everybody puts their hands up. And then they say, okay, put your hand down if your boss isn't an asshole, and like one person puts their hand down.
And Sterling K. Brown has a really great line, which I think is one of the strengths of this movie. These types of asides where he just goes, "Good for you," as he passes by the guy who put his hand down.
Yeah. And so they go and they take they take the items off of these people that they have withdrawn from the bank that belong to their rich bosses. And one of the people is this dude in a suit with this fancy pen, and Brian Tyree Henry sees it and is like, "Ooh, don't mind if I do."
I don't this. Okay, this scene is like a good microcosm of the strengths and the weaknesses of this movie.
Yes.
Because on the one hand, like conceptually, I really like what's happening here.
Yeah.
Like, this makes sense and it is something I haven't quite seen before. Of course, the help is going to be employed to go deposit all of this stuff for the rich people and, at their own security, risk, right? But then Sterling K. Brown's character, I'm just going to call him Waikiki because I'm going to get confused later on.
Sure.
He's eventually called Waikiki.
Yeah.
Waikiki then basically voices in very direct terms what's going on. Like, it's an interesting concept, and then he has to like take all of the subtext out of it by just calling it what it is.
Yeah.
And that's where the script starts to feel like it's a little too, it wants to show off its cleverness. Like,
Sure.
It wants credit for like, isn't this a cool idea I had? But then in calling it out, it deflates the kind of coolness of the idea.
Yes, but also that is the most screenwriter-ass tendency of all time,
is
to think up something clever and then want to make sure that everyone knows how clever you were.
Which is maybe a vote in the direction of maybe directors shouldn't direct their own scripts.
Maybe so. And notable that Drew Pearce hasn't directed a movie since this one, but he has written several more movies. He's written, he wrote Hobbs and Shaw, He wrote The Fall Guy, and he's written the upcoming Thomas Crown Affair, directed by and starring Michael B. Jordan, which I only found out about doing research for this, and I'm going to be in the theater day one to watch that shit. But, so, I agree, this maybe gets a little bit too clever for its own good, but I do like a movie that establishes some class consciousness up front, and...
Oh, sure, yeah.
And it does... I don't know. I think that a better movie, or a movie that had more of a main plot going for it, would probably, like, shine a little bit more of a light on, like, what's motivating the rioters outside? What's, you know, what are the, you know, what is it that allows these people to have enough money to get the Hotel Artemis subscription and call these things into question?
It points to the problems without actually doing anything with them.
Sure.
And that kind of brings me back around to the pen here, because... Yes. Brian, okay, one of the things is they can't get into the vault, and that's why they start stealing from everyone that's in line.
Yeah.
And as they're taking everything from the people, you know, waiting in line, Brian Tyree Henry walks by, as you said, this guy that has a pen in his pocket.
Yeah.
Which doesn't really make a lot of sense for him to go, okay, that bag has diamonds and jewels and cash. This one has gold and necklaces and jewels. I'm going to stop because that guy has a pen in his pocket?
Like, yeah, like 10 years in the future, we're going to value the written words so much that it's like, a nice fountain pen. This must cost a whole $150. Like, I mean, maybe...
It's endorsed by Wes Anderson.
I mean, maybe there's some backstory that got cut where Brian Tyree Henry's character is like a ballpoint pen influencer online, so he's really plugged into that world.
He is a heroin addict, so maybe he is like a William S. Burroughs that we just don't know anything about.
This is true. This is true. He really likes the ways of the old world. But he pulls the pen out and he's saying, "Oh, this looks really good." And the guy who had it in his pocket is like, "You do not want to take that. Trust me." And he's like, "Well, now I know I do want to take it." And so he leaves with the forbidden pen, which we later find is a super science-y mini vault that, when opened, has a bunch of super valuable sci-fi MacGuffin diamonds in it, which belong to...
Yeah, $18 million worth.
Yes, and then they belong to the Wolf King, the Jeff Goldblum character, who is famous for totally fucking up anybody who ever steals anything from him.
Okay, I guess I want to ask this now.
Ask me.
And we don't have to go into Jeff Goldblum so much, but the character, the mythos around Wolf King.
Yeah.
Before we really learn about Wolf King.
Yeah.
The fear is, as is spoken directly by the characters in this movie.
Yeah.
You don't want to fuck with him because he'll drown you.
Yeah. Yeah. That's...
and I was like, is this some sort of futuristic slang? And then it turns out, no, he's just going to drown you.
Well,
and I'm like, now, listen, we live in a world where there are biker gangs using machetes to cut arms off. A kingpin that just drowns you seems like a weird threat to be afraid of in a world of riots and water crisis.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's really pretty audacious. There's a water shortage, and he kills people by giving them too much water. Pretty twisted, if you think about it. I do think that this movie puts a lot of energy into trying to establish that this is the baddest, most fucked up dude in the world, and it's like I don't doubt that he's a bad dude, but I don't find myself like fearing him. Like, even the reputation that's built before Jeff Goldblum shows up on screen, it's like, okay, so he seems like the kind of generic bad guy in a generic, like, gangster movie who, like, yeah, he'll kill you because he's really vengeful. Like, nothing about it is especially terror-inducing.
I guess let's go into it now. I mean, the movie kind of makes it a thing about the reveal of it being Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah.
And this is one of the main areas I feel like the movie fails, which is I should be dreading his appearance more and more, and it's just kind of he's just kind of a whisper in the background and not a super threatening way.
Yeah.
And then when he shows up, it's Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah.
And it's played as if he's, I don't know, it's kind of, I feel like his character needed a rewrite after Jeff Goldblum came on board, because the dichotomy of the kind of sensuousness of
Yeah,
Jeff Goldblum,
yeah.
the kind of cerebral nature of how he performs, needs to be juxtaposed with like viciousness or like there's got to be fear that is drawn from the tension between his vibe and what he does.
Yes.
And it just kind of is played like I don't know. It's played in a way where it's like I just don't believe him as a kingpin. I believe him as a rich person.
Yeah, I believe him as a weird rich guy from West LA, which I believe Jeff Goldblum in fact is. So truly some method acting there. But like he. Yeah, we're told that, oh man, he's so scary, I gotta look out for this guy. And then he shows up on screen, and I can see on the screenwriting level how what they're doing is like, you've been told this guy is the most fearsome badass in the world, but then you see him, and oh, he's kind of just this stammering, halfway charming, smooth-talking Jeff Goldblum-ass type. And okay, so that plays against the legend that's been built for him. But then we never actually, see him do any actual brutality. Like his scariness and his badness, like both as a force and an on-screen presence, is supposed to drive a lot of the movie. But I mean, he comes to the Hotel Artemis because he's been wounded, and then he's pretty much in the nurse's care the entire time that he's on screen, and then Nice, the assassin, kills him while he's incapacitated. There's never like a single moment where he tries to turn the tables or do anything like brutal and vicious and cunning to show that he's worthy of this reputation he has.
We really need to see him as the psychopath, the unfeeling sociopathic kingpin, and we don't get that at all. Like he comes in and he's immediately sequestered. Like there isn't even a I'm gonna be under the knife for a bit, son, played by Zachary Quinto, who I have weird feelings about.
Yeah, because you love him so much.
No, not good feelings. But so like there needs to be someone who's been like pulling on our heartstrings a bit throughout the movie. Yeah, and Jeff Goldblum just kind of cold-bloodedly pushing them aside, like ordering their death or a violence to them or something, where you see a contrast to the stammeriness. Yes. And we don't get anything that whatever. I'm belaboring the point, but
we're told that there's a contrast to the stammeriness. Yeah. We don't see it, and so
we don't see it. Yeah, and that's a huge flaw of this movie, and I think partly why the second half of it kind of falls apart.
Yeah. I will just say, when Jeff Goldblum's character gets killed by Nice, the beautiful lady assassin, who it turns out has faked an injury and checked herself into the Hotel Artemis so she can be there to kill the Wolf King for some unknown buyer. She's straddled him, and she has this knife to his neck, and she has to look right into his eyes while she kills him because the person who's hired her wants like video from her ocular cameras of her doing it. But so she's got the knife to his neck.
Why? Don't skip past why. Don't skip past why, Truman.
So he can watch it while he masturbates. Doy. So
not to linger on that point, but like she walks into the room, starts recording. Jeff Goldblum is dead within 40 seconds, and she leaves the room. I guess if you have this particular kink, maybe you can get off in 40 seconds. Just like a 40-second video. Is she gonna like compile this with like news footage of the Kingpin before the actual footage of him dying, so that the guy, there's like a build up to the climax, or it's just like, here's your fucking thing, you figure out how to get off to this?
Surely it's impossible to masturbate to a looping clip of something, or to perhaps slow down the playback speed on something while masturbating. I don't think anyone does that, and that technology certainly not available in the future.
Okay. Interesting. So, this conversation's telling of one of us. I'm not sure who it is. I don't think we need to investigate this further.
We both eat lots of Perfo cereal, so that is not an issue for either of us. I will say that Jeff Goldblum has... He goes out with the most metal-ass line in the world. She's about to slit his throat, and he's looking at her, and he's not fighting back at all. He's still kind of woozy from some anesthesia, and he just goes... Oh, so this is how it happens? All right, baby, send me down the river. I'm just like, holy shit. Drew Pierce, good job. That's a cool way to die. That's such a cool thing to say.
Delivered just wonderfully. It made me kind of wish for, again, another kind of layer to this character of like, let me see the Kingpin who has done it all, has it all, can do everything, owns everything, and has just kind of lost the will to live.
Yeah.
Like he becomes reckless and looking for death.
Yeah. I think every little B plot in this movie has a lot of potential to it, and if it wouldn't work as, maybe if this concept wouldn't work as a series, sure, granted, we don't need more TV shows, even though there was a time when my career would have directly benefited if there were more TV shows, but like I think that this movie would be better if they axed one of these B plots so that all of the other ones could have a little more development to them, because just, more stuff like that with Jeff Goldblum, more development on what goes on between him and the nurse when she realizes that he had her son killed. I don't know, more between Sterling K. Brown and Brian Tyree Henry and them kind of fleshing out their relationship where Sterling K. Brown feels burdened by having to care for his fuck-up brother all the time. You might get a more memorable movie if you axe one of these other plots. Yeah,
I agree. Because it does at a certain point feel like everyone is playing supporting roles to everybody else, and it never elevates any one story to a place of emotional resonance.
Yeah. It's the stakes in the movie are like objectively high, but they never feel that high. It just because none of these, like, everything is moving at a good clip, and all the stories that we're seeing are entertaining, and they have a lot of conflict to them. But it never really all comes together and builds to a satisfying conclusion.
Yeah, let's hold on. I want to pause and go back to the start real quick.
Okay, great.
Where I want to talk about the hotel itself.
Sure.
I think we let's set up a better understanding of the mechanics of this hospital.
Sure.
The rules, how it works, who's there. Give me your first impressions.
Okay, it's a big ol' sturdy Art Deco type building in a seemingly abandoned part of downtown LA.
Here's my question to you, just as we go through these.
Boom.
Is this an old hotel that has been retrofitted for future stuff, or is this a new hotel made to look old? Because at one point when certain people are worried about what's happening outside, the war that's waging between the police and the civilians, they're like, is this place gonna, like, withstand all the shit that's going down if a helicopter hits us? And at one point the nurse says, don't worry about it, this place is made of carbon fiber.
Yeah, well, I think what I took that to mean is that when they put the hospital stuff into the abandoned building, they gutted the walls and the insides and put like carbon fiber lining into it. We can get Bob Vila on here.
That's not gonna save the foundation.
Oh, okay. Well, one of us is a homeowner and one of us isn't. Maybe the foundation was sturdy because when they built the place, it had old-time good construction, and then they just like did some touch-ups on the upper floors where the actual hospital stuff is.
Yeah, because you do see a lot of, like, the hospital stuff does feel overlaid to the hotel stuff. In fact, each of the rooms are hotel rooms that are, like, converted into, waiting rooms or operating rooms. There are often shots of, panning along the ceiling, and you see the like fiber optic cables that are connecting everything and making everything work, kind of just like stapled to the ceiling.
Yeah.
It kind of gives it really made me want to play BioShock again.
Yeah, the hotel has a very that kind of like retro Art Deco 1940s, 1950s feel to it.
Set in the future.
Set in the future. I mean, which eventually is going to force us to discuss another sci-fi
Fallout.
Noir movie throwback. Well, I was going to say Reminiscence, but yeah, let's talk about Fallout, the thing that I love.
Do you want my Reminiscence connections right here now?
Yeah, do the Reminiscence connection.
I've got two.
Okay.
One, Hotel Artemis seems like it would be a place where you would find Hugh Jackman's Butt Juice Emporium.
Absolutely.
Just as a supporting service partner.
This could conceivably be in the same world as Reminiscence, and it pains me to say that because I kind of like this movie.
The other thing I had was she has this flashback. The nurse has this flashback of her son overdosing under the Santa Monica Pier.
Yeah.
And you see him kind of face down in the water. And I thought to myself, wait, is this set after Reminiscence? Is the nurse, who we don't know her name, actually Frances on the Ocean?
Oh, she decided.
Is this the kid that they saved at the end of that movie?
But so you're saying that the ocean levels have raised enough to completely flood Miami, but meanwhile Santa Monica Pier is still there, or you can still go underneath it?
I'm not gonna pretend to know how ocean levels rising works.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna hold your Reminiscence fan fiction to the highest standards of reality.
Thank you.
I think that this movie is doing what Reminiscence thought it was doing. This is a movie that is taking on a lot of film noir trappings of these hard-boiled characters on the wrong side of the law who are all trying to get by, and have a lot of deep thoughts about loss and tragic things, but it does it without being so insufferable that I want to throw my computer out a window.
Honestly, I kind of feel like a marriage between Reminiscence and this movie would actually be what both movies need. Not you leave the fucking poetic bullshit behind of Reminiscence, but give this more of a, like, the conflict that can arise of someone desperately needing to find someone inside a place that has very strict entry rules.
Yeah.
And trying to break into it. Like, that would be interesting.
Yeah, if effing Hugh Jackman's whole quest was just kind of like focused on one building on one night and not just all of this meandering around to different places, that focus could have helped the movie.
We're not here to talk about Reminiscence. We're here to talk about Hotel Artemis.
Yes, this is true. The other thing that I will say, though, and I alluded to this earlier about this feeling like a Howard Hawks movie or a John Ford movie, in the way that it feels like a movie from the 40s, in a way that Reminiscence was trying to be, you know, it has the feel of a movie like Stagecoach or a movie like Rio Bravo, which is just, here's a bunch of characters who kind of are coming from different places. They have clashing personalities. They are in a tight space. They have to figure out a way to get along while crazy shit is going on outside that they're dealing with. This movie has that kind of wrapping or intention to it, and I think where it falls apart is that none of that comes together in the same way. It doesn't feel like as much of a pressure cooker environment as those movies do.
Yeah, the conflict is like, it starts strong, it starts interesting. I'll say the first 40 minutes of this movie goes by very quickly.
Yeah, and then and then there's only 40 minutes left after that.
And it's the introduction and the introduction of the conflict that I think is the most interesting part. But then, nothing really comes of the conflict they set up.
Yeah.
There's a tension between niece Sophia Boutella and Charlie Day, where Charlie Day is playing this racist rich man who is constantly, just berating her and telling her she's inferior to him, and she's like, I could end you in 2 seconds, but I'm choosing not to. You have no leg to stand on. And then nothing really happens with that. There's one kind of small closure piece, but there's no ticking time bomb, there's no explosion that comes up at an inconvenient moment for them.
Well, I mean, there is an explosion that happens at an inconvenient moment.
Yes.
And, I mean, it does get resolved because they stick his head in a 3D printer, which is another dope-ass way to die. I take your point.
Yeah, but I mean, thematically, the tension, the conflict between them doesn't, escalate the stakes of the movie at all. It doesn't deepen the characters in any way. It's just, it's there to kind of funly set up the characters.
Yeah.
But then doesn't play out in a way that means anything.
Yeah, it is real. So Sophia Boutella and Sterling K. Brown, their characters have some romantic history, and there's some stuff they're talking about. And Charlie Day is kind of just around the edges of their storyline, being a dick and getting punched in the face or knocked down for a laugh. He doesn't really factor into the bigger story or contribute anything along the way.
Yeah. Yeah, and it becomes that he's just there for, plot reasons. Like, they need a reason to have an explosion on top of the building. And, Charlie Day is going to be up there, and during the explosion, it's going to ruin his helicopter ride out of there. And so it just allows him to, like, show up at an inconvenient, suspenseful moment to disrupt the action that's happening.
And it also doesn't even make sense that he's able to show up, because, he has gone up to the roof. He's been at the Hotel Artemis. He's this arms dealer jackass. He's gotten his treatment. He's called a chartered helicopter to come and pick him up and fly him away. He's on the roof waiting for it. Sophia Boutella comes up there, and they have some more words. She's trying to plant this bomb for her big assassin plan to blow out the generator. And he's being a dick to her, and she punches him really hard and, like, knocks him out, and then goes downstairs to do her assassination. But then Charlie Day wakes up and gets a gun and goes back downstairs to take revenge on her. And I'm like, hey, ruthless assassin, this guy's a total piece of shit who's been calling you a whore and being racist. Maybe kill him. Because it's only going to, like, not only do you have, like, a emotional reason to, because he's directly insulted you, it's also better for the job you're trying to do. Like, a true professional would just kill this guy so he doesn't come back and mess with you. It's very much, we're going to leave him alive so we can have something in the third act.
Well, this circles back around to what I was trying to get to about talking about the way this operates.
Yes.
The rules.
The rules.
This Hotel Artemis has rules. This is a movie that has rules. And I want to talk about rules.
Okay.
I want to talk about the specific rules in this, and I want to talk about how do you feel about movies that have rules?
Yeah. I think it rules when movies have rules.
Do you?
No,
Really?
I actually wanted to do dumb wordplay. I think that if your movie is going to be about rules, it needs to be pretty straightforwardly focused on both making clear what those rules are, establishing them up front, and then having the rules be a theme throughout.
Yeah.
Here they talk about the rules of the hotel kind of sometimes, and like later in the movie there's references to, they're breaking the most important rule, don't kill the other guests or whatever. But there's not really a like upfront, hey, this institution, the Hotel Artemis, is only able to function because of rigid adherence to these rules. Like there's a list of 10 rules, which is a lot of rules to have in a movie. It's a lot to keep straight in the audience's head. We never hear them. We kind of pan across a sign with all of them listed, but we don't even get a lot of time to see
I think they're spelled out in the trailer.
Oh, okay, so we have to watch the trailer to get a key part of the movie.
We do, yes.
I don't know, I just think, like, look, everybody knows the rules of Fight Club, because...
Unfortunately.
There's a short amount of them, and they're set up pretty clearly, and I feel like here this movie doesn't set them up in a clear way. Like, how do you feel about rules in movies and rules in this movie?
I'm kind of done with rules in movies.
Oh,
just
shit.
On a personal level, like, it's a trope that I'm just like, okay, yeah, we saw it in Scream, 30 years ago, and I'm just kind of like, do we have to have rules? Just like, have your own rules. Don't make it text of the movie.
This is great for me because you're the most parameter obsessed person I've ever met, and you're here decrying the existence of rules in movies.
I'm not. I think rules in movies are important behind the scenes, the architecture and foundation of how you're making things work.
Yeah. Don't
draw attention to them. I don't need it to be text. I don't need your characters to tell me what the rules are.
Yeah.
Just have them abide by rules. Make it a moral code. Make it, a dilemma of profession.
Mm-hmm.
But like the rules that are set up here, and one of them being no cops. No talking about the Hotel Artemis. No talking about the Hotel Artemis.
Yeah.
No killing the other residents. Like, I don't even remember what they all are either. But
too many.
By the end of it, everyone that has been mentioned has been broken by someone, including by the nurse who is upholding them. And, like, that is kind of cool. Like, at least you're doing something with the rules, but it doesn't quite land in the way that I think you think it is.
Because breaking the rules should have then some sort of consequences.
Yes.
And it's like,
no one cares that every time a rule is broken, it only exists for a character to say a line and then the movie moves on.
Yeah.
Like, Waikiki, Sterling K. Brown, sees Jenny Slate being wheeled, in a wheelchair out of the hotel after being treated. She's a cop. He recognizes her by her, cop-issued boots and, has this kind of subversive conversation with Dave Bautista, who's wheeling her out. And it's just like, he lets him know, hey, I see that you treated a cop. And he's like, okay, I'm sorry. And then continues to wheel her out. And that's all that comes of it.
It's
same with killing Jeff Goldblum, or why okay, this brings me back to why I brought this up.
Yeah.
Sophia Boutella not killing Charlie Day.
Yeah.
Is like, she doesn't do that because it would complicate her larger mission of killing Jeff Goldblum.
Mm-hmm.
Her killing Charlie Day, but the movie doesn't really make a big enough deal about this. Like, there should be a struggle there. Like, I have a reason to fucking kill you. You have crossed a line. She even fucking has a whole stupid ass thing later in this movie about not crossing her line.
Yeah. That just gets conjured out of nowhere for one fight scene.
It is. It makes no sense, but he should cross a line. She should want to kill him and shouldn't be able to, because she needs to not break a rule in order to break the rule later in a way that's more necessary for her job.
Yes. I agree. And it's also not fully clear. I mean, I guess Dave Bautista, who, spoiler alert, is a large man, I guess he's the one who enforces the rules, but also it's like Sophia Boutella's character is a very, capable fighter and assassin, so even if she does break a rule, I'm not sure, it's not, I don't know, I mean, why does she need to play by the rules?
Well, because, as we see, in her profession, she has subscriptions or memberships to all of the different hotel hospitals across the world. And so, I would imagine, and they don't explain this, but I would imagine breaking the rules at one makes you untrustworthy for all of them. And therefore, it's she can't do her job anymore.
Yeah, I guess that does sort of raise the idea that there is allusion made to other secret criminal hotel hospitals in other major cities. And I don't know, so this is just a much more corporate operation, I guess, than you would have thought at first. This isn't just the nurse doing it for love of the game. Is a corporation paying her? Is what's that look like?
There are a lot of things like that just start to, the more you investigate them, the less sense things make.
And look, I am a huge proponent of movies not feeling the need to explain everything. I really applaud this movie for leaving a lot kind of sketched out. I'm so glad that there's not the evil head of the company that's privatizing LA's water is also here and he's doing it for this reason and here's 20 more minutes of backstory and explanation. No, great. We understand the broad strokes.
But at the same time, they do go to certain lengths to make tension out of, you gotta keep this place a secret. When Kenneth Choi, one of the heist guys at the beginning, he doesn't have membership here, and so he will not be treated. And Dave Bautista has to take him outside and be like, get the fuck out of here. And if you say anything about this place, I'm gonna have to come and find you and kill you and hurt you, and I don't want to do that. So keep your mouth shut. Now, the problem is, because they make such a big deal out of that, even with Jenny Slate's character, he's like, you can't tell anyone about this. And she's like, I wouldn't do that to her. And he's like, good answer. How do they enforce that? How do you enforce the secrecy of this place when there is no, what is the consequence for anyone if you spoil this? There's no treaty that is amongst civilians and the criminal enterprises.
Yeah.
Between the police and the criminal enterprises that go, all that's going to happen is that, you're going to kill me if I say something? What if I say something and then leave town?
Also, I don't really trust that Dave Bautista is going to be the guy who's going to go and kill you, because he's... yes, physically imposing, but he's a big sweetheart in this movie. I like him a lot.
Oh my God. Yeah,
I'm really up on Dave Bautista. I'm finding that this season I really like big muscle dudes in movies. Big, gentle muscle men. I can't get enough.
his relationship with Nurse is so sweet. It's one of the best things of the movie.
It's adorable. This movie has so much heart. We watch so many cynical, jaded movies, but there's like so much love and affection between these two coworkers. It's cute as hell.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how you keep the place secret when all we ever see are them being really chill about people who have come inside the hospital and then sending them away and just making them promise not to tell about it.
It's the lack of consequences, which you had mentioned earlier.
Yes.
Is kind of my point. And this is where like the John Wickiness comes in. Like, we need to see, like, even I hate this sort of shit, but like even just a quick flashback. Not even a flashback of someone's story, but just like, if you break this rule, then we have to employ, some of the members of this criminal, that have membership to Hotel Artemis, like Sophia Battia, to seek you out and kill you.
Yeah.
Like, and not just kill you, they're going to kill your family. And they're not just going to kill your family, they're going to erase your, known existence from the records. Like, we have to be able to see that they are tapping into a larger network that is gonna have actual real world consequences for them, because as it's set up, it's like, don't blow the secrecy on this place. Don't do it. You're gonna piss off the Wolf King.
I'm gonna shake my finger at you so hard if you do it.
But if you do it, what am I gonna do about it? I don't know.
Yeah, I kept forgetting throughout the movie that this place was supposed to be secret, because nothing about it, there's no like kind of clandestine feel to this place.
No.
Also, when you have branches in like 20 cities, how can you be secret anymore?
Exactly. That's why, like, I maybe it's the $15 million limitations of what the scope of what you can show.
Certainly. I definitely feel the budgetary limitations here, like, not in terms of it's visible on screen, but just I'm very much aware of Drew Pearce kind of scaling back his ambitions to what can we do on a few sets, what can we do to, make this all more manageable and more realistic, and stuff that probably got cut out to serve that.
Absolutely, and I do want to just mention Ramsey Avery, who is the production designer for this movie.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think for a $15 million budget, like, yes, it does feel like a black room or a black box theater play at times.
Yeah.
But, there's never any question to me about the reality of the hotel.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It feels real. It feels
great.
lived in. It feels like an operational place. I really think the production design is one of the best aspects of this movie.
No, completely agree. There are, because again, it's this repurposed hotel. Every room is named for and kind of themed for a different city in the world. And so part of that is these rooms have these big kind of mural paintings in them, like the room that Sterling K. Brown is in. It's the Waikiki Honolulu room. And so there's this gigantic painting of kind of a Hawaiian 6 days, 7 nights ass beach with a seaplane coming in and palm trees, and there's all these long shots of Sterling K. Brown sitting by his brother's bedside, framed with this big beautiful painting in the background. It looks good. It's interesting to look at, and it's weathered in this way that gives the sense that this place has a history to it. I also want to call out the actual technology in the movie, this sort of high-tech medical technology that's been moved into this old space. Yeah. I think these might be some of the best interfaces on screens that I've ever seen in a sci-fi movie.
Okay. Unpack that.
Okay, I will. There's a lot of, like, the nurse herself doesn't really seem to have a whole lot of medical skill. She's mainly a technician who's good at operating these high-tech AI nanobot machines that will grow you a new kidney and put it in. It's like the thing in Alien.
Prometheus. Where it's yeah.
Yeah, the thing in Prometheus that she gets into, that the programmable medical machine. It's like,
yeah,
everything is kind of like that. They do all the cutting and the surgery, and she's just sort of queuing up different procedures on the screens. But
she does use like a magic screwdriver from Doctor Who on people's faces at times.
True, no, you're right. No, she does. She has like a laser scalpel, and that's neat. But so she'll have these big screens that she'll kind of like pull over. They're mounted to the machine, but they're like kind of movable, and she'll like yank it over, and she'll be queuing stuff up on it, and there's just like different indicators or surveillance footage will come up, and she'll like grab that and drag it across the screen and throw it up into one corner that'll expand it to be the time. Like the way that they interact with the screens and the way that all of the information on them is set up and laid out feels more realistic and lived in than I think so many other sci-fi movies where people using the computers, it looks nothing like what an actual menu or interface you would work with looks like.
Yeah, I'll go there with you on that.
Thank you.
There was a moment when she's doing a anxiety meditation, and she's listening to it on her headphones, and she has like this tablet that she walks around with.
Yeah.
That looks like, a heavy-duty iPad.
Yeah.
And what I liked about it was it kind of mirrored the kind of anachronistic design of the hotel itself, where it's like it's future but also Art Deco, so old and new at the same time. Her iPad that she's holding has all those screens that you're talking about.
Yeah.
But the windows that they're in look like they're like Windows 98.
Yeah.
But they're interactive in a way that's like, Mac OS X 20.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really cool. It is doing some sort of anachronistic stuff, but not in the annoying way that Reminiscence does, where it's like, oh yeah, all these people are wearing Panama hats now. That's just the thing. They're all in 3-piece suits for some reason. It's clashing technology from different eras.
That said, the heist outfits that the brothers wear, Sterling K. Hayden, Brian Tyree Henry, are 3-piece suits, and they kind of look like Pee Wee Herman without the bow tie, and I thought that was really cool. I thought that was a cool costuming choice.
Turns out the secret word today was robbery. Well, that's a pretty good Pee Wee. I wasn't expecting that. Well, okay.
It fell apart.
Yeah, it did. Much like goings on at the Hotel Artemis.
I want to, before we move on from the technology piece, there is like 2 things I want to comment on. One, I hate to bring up Poltergeist again.
Oh boy. Okay.
Why can we just have technology that doesn't glitch? That doesn't just have a glitch.
Kind of like the robot on Pee-wee's Playhouse.
When the title screen for Hotel Artemis comes up, it's not even like techie, and the title glitches. Why? They're in the lobby of the bank that they're robbing. Yeah. There's a hologram image, which we've seen 100,000,000 times in future sci-fi, and it's kind of glitching as they're walking, as the camera's panning through. I'm like, why? Why does it have to glitch? I understand how fucking technology works. Can we find another way to show that technology is fallible and has aged?
Yeah. If I was installing a hologram, an informational hologram lady in my big fancy bank, I would simply make sure to get one that doesn't glitch out every 2 seconds. I'd get one that works really well.
The other thing, and I found this just kind of interesting, any sci-fi film you do, does not matter if you're 2001 or you're Hotel Artemis, you're going to take some swings about speculative technology based on what's currently in the news.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just not going to pan out for you. Remember 2018 when 3D printing was such a huge thing? Yes, it's still around and important, but I don't think in the way that we thought it might have been. Yeah. This movie is very much like, I'm going to 3D print you organs for your body. I'm going to be able to 3D print you guns from schematics. I'm going to be able to scan someone's crushed head.
Yeah, it's definite. There's a lot of 3D printing stuff here. I don't know. I guess I look at it in this and I'm like, oh, that's cool. We were excited about a technology that produced something tactile and good, not just AI slop or the blockchain, which doesn't even do anything.
Yeah, I realize my tone is very critical on that. It's not meant to be. That's just part and parcel of any sci-fi story. It's one of those things where you kind of like, oh yeah, remember in 2001 when they're all about space exploration for civilians, but it was Pan Am doing it.
Yeah.
It's a gamble that it comes with the genre, and we can all kind of just cock our heads and smile at it and go, oh yeah. that one didn't quite pan out.
I would love to go to space on a Pan Am flight. That's my personal preference for space travel. Speaking of things that are very much a piece of another era, Jenny Slate is in this movie playing a cop.
Yeah, I don't have anything against Jenny Slate.
I have nothing
I don't even
against.
think she's terrible here.
I agree. I have nothing against her. I don't think she's bad in this at all. It's just interesting that she's here.
It's bizarre. Yeah, she doesn't quite fit, but I don't think that's her fault. The character feels underwritten and feels like it's just serving a purpose rather than actually meaning anything.
Yeah. I find myself questioning why really she's here. Like, she's a friend of the nurse's son, so the nurse sees her wounded from the riot outside the Hotel Artemis and secretly lets her in to get care. But also, it's like another thing.
How does she know this place exists?
How does she know? Because people keep fucking talking about the Hotel Artemis. Even the cops know where it is. What's the point?
And okay. I was very confused by this. Does she know about this? I mean, obviously she knows about the hotel's existence. Does she know about it because she was friends with the nurse's son? But does she know the nurse is here, or is this a massive coincidence?
But the nurse's son died before she started the Hotel Artemis. So,
was there a period where they stayed in touch? I mean, the movie goes to no lengths to explain any of this, but it's a big hole.
It is a big hole, much like the one that they blast in the bank to escape from it. I don't. And again, I guess I applaud the movie for also not feeling like they need to explain in great detail how she and Jenny Slate know each other and how they stayed in touch, and just kind of trusting us to fill in that gap ourselves. I guess I wouldn't be bothered by that question if I was then not also bothered by, well, what was the point of the cop being here? Because...
Yes, right. To break a rule. Because the nurse had to break one of the rules.
No cops.
And she wasn't about to kill someone.
Yeah.
So, like, that was the rule that she had to break for the kind of not pay off, kind of vibe of the end of this movie, where it's just like, okay, rules are meant to be broken. Everyone, there's exceptions to everything. Even the nurse has to break her own rules at times. But it doesn't follow up on the why she had to break the rule.
I mean, she had to break the rule because this is someone from her past who she cares about. So,
yeah.
So there's that. In terms of the consequences, though, I think you're spot on, because it's such a big thing not having a cop in the hospital, and then it's even more so that, the Wolf King is here. If he and his men, because his son, the Wolf King's son, played by Zachary Quinto, and all of his, bodyguards and men are all, out in the waiting room and being really antsy. And there's this whole thing of if the Wolf King finds out that a cop is in the hospital, he's gonna go ballistic.
If this movie had a werewolf in it, I would be way into it.
I'd be about it. Or if it had Wolfman Jack from American Graffiti in it, I'd also be into it. He's broadcasting from the top floor. But so there's this whole notion of, there's two patients in the hospital right now, and one of them definitely can't find out about the other one. That sets up some interesting tension of, we need to shuffle her from room to room while performing these life-saving treatments, and it's cat and mouse, and it's hiding. But that never really comes to fruition. It's another one of these plot lines where the stakes are high, but they never feel high. They wind up sneaking her out the back way. No one sees her. They never have to explain to anyone what she's doing there. And so, the rule is broken with no consequence to the Hotel Artemis.
Yeah, it's not demonstrative even in the least bit, to your point. That should be, a layup for a suspenseful scene, having Jeff Goldblum there and Jenny Slate there, based on their characters.
Yeah.
But... give me, at risk of it feeling like a Three's Company episode, give me a moment where the nurse has to, tend to both of them in an emergency at the same time, but can't, and has to choose one or the other.
Yeah.
That's something that could have been here.
Yeah.
And I think really been added a layer of juice to a section of the film that was dragging a bit.
Mm-hmm.
That would have added some entertainment value and like actual moral stakes that she has to, it's one of those branching decisions in the video game you talked about where, there's no good choice and it's going to affect the, whichever end credit scene you're going to see of her.
Yeah, or it's like many video games where it seems like there's branching choices, but really all it means is there's like 2 slightly different dialogue options down the line and you get the same ending no matter what. It's a big swing to cast noted internet comedy actor Jenny Slate in a dramatic role, but then not have it really mean anything, even though you've got her in scenes with 2-time Academy Award winner Jodie Foster acting her ass off.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't have a lot to say about Jenny Slate. I everything you said, I co-sign. It is a frustrating part of this movie.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of frustrating missed opportunities here.
Yeah.
But again, I'm not mad at it. Like everything.
No, I'm not either.
Everything here is enjoyable to watch in the moment. It's just kind of when you reflect on it after the fact, you start to realize, wait, that didn't make sense. That didn't turn into anything. Why was that there?
At the same, you're right. This movie is not 100% successful, but I applaud it for like actually trying to do something.
Yes.
Oh yes. And that's one of our main complaints of so many movies. It's just like you're running down the time.
Yeah.
You're going through the motions. I applaud the attempt at, character motivations and stuff. It's just like a muddled sense of action and stakes.
Yes. But I agree. Like every character in this has a thing that they do. They have like a way that they talk and a secret that they're keeping that motivates their actions, which is just so much more than I can say for the Orson Fortune or the Wicker Park folks or the
Yes.
Boat Boys. Like it just
Why?
It takes you so far as a movie, even if other stuff is going wrong, if your characters all just have a thing that differentiates them and they all just sort of feel like people, if they all have one thing about them that you can remember, that does so much of the work of your movie.
Yeah, I want to talk a little bit more broadly about the script. I'll segue by saying this, where like I think Drew Pearce's talent lies in characterization.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at what he did with Iron Man 3,
Yeah.
especially coming off of Iron Man 2, like rooting that story in PTSD
Mm-hmm.
and an actual like consequence of what happened to Tony Stark.
Yeah.
Like that was a superhero story that was a little bit more than just fighting the end of the world. It was a character trying to reclaim himself.
Yeah.
And I think that's what partly made that film so great. And I think you see a lot of that here. But where he gets tripped up, at least in this film, is the mechanics of getting from point A to point B and landing the emotional beats.
Yeah.
For instance, the end of this movie, like there are points throughout it where it's just like, okay, he's read the guru book that says on page 45 this thing has to happen, and so that's where you get the explosion with Charlie Day on this, the rooftop, because it needs to propel us into a different, ticking clock sort of vibe.
Yeah.
And I think talking about the ending beats of this movie really demonstrate this. So after Jeff Goldblum is killed and they need to escape because Zachary Quinto and all of the minions under the Wolf King have broken okay, hold on. Back up real quick.
These are also not the minions from Gru. These are different minions.
They are different minions. They actually, no, they don't ever actually speak either. So, do we know that they're not the minions?
I mean, the minions speak. They just say cutesy gibberish. So I feel like we know that they're not those minions because they're actually being quiet.
There's this vestibule. The elevator takes everyone up to this vestibule that is has this big iron gate in front of it, and
Yeah.
you have to scan your membership and put your guns away before you can enter. And the nurse and Everest are holding Zachary Quinto back, and all of the minions who, like, you can't enter, your father can because he has an active membership, you do not, therefore you can't enter, especially because you have weapons. And Zachary Quinto is brooding, yelling, petulant child.
Yeah.
And saying, I'm gonna kill you, Dad, I'm gonna make you proud, all that sort of bullshit. And so they start drilling through the side of the wall in order to get into the place.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the pressure valve. They need to escape with Jenny Slate because Zachary Quinto is gonna come in. And again, just to the futile nature of that storyline, is like, Zachary Quinto's gonna kill you regardless if you have a cop in the place or not. So what's the point of Jenny Slate?
Sure.
But okay, all of that to say, I needed to set that up.
Yeah.
Because we're rushing headlong into the escape, and Sterling K. Brown has been shot and he's bleeding out.
Yeah.
And Jenny Slate has had this operation and, can't function on her own and needs to be escorted out by the nurse and Sterling K. Brown.
Yeah.
And Sophia Batilla is with them, and Dave Bautista is with them. And they open up this secret compartment. There's lots of, like, hidden corridors in this place, and there's an escape route that isn't, visible by the naked eye unless you know it's there. And they open this corridor, and as they're leaving, you have this super cliche moment where Dave Bautista says, just go. I'm going to stay back and hold them off while you go.
Yeah.
And I'm like, they're held off.
Yeah,
like,
they're behind the wall.
The time you're taking to say goodbye, you all could have escaped.
Yes.
And it's supposed to be this emotional moment between him and the nurse because they have such a sweet relationship. You don't want to see it ruined. And he stays behind. And there's this, like, now you're all in big trouble moment between Dave Bautista, Zachary Quinto, and the goons.
Yeah, he gives them option A or option B, like The Rock in The Rundown. And they choose option B, the fools.
Dave Bautista in The Rundown. I would watch that.
I would watch that too. I love Dave Bautista. He's great.
But then, literally 30 seconds later, they get to this hidden elevator where they're going to descend to an area that they can escape. And then Sophia Batilla goes, just go.
Yeah.
It's the exact same fucking beat where she's going to defend this hallway now.
Yes.
And draws this fucking line in the sand. And, like, I don't fucking understand anything that happens with her in this action scene.
Or even, like, why does she suddenly feel such a sense of obligation to them? Like, she's this cold-blooded professional, whatever. Maybe she has some doubts about her work, but she very quickly goes from it's every, dog eat dog, every man and woman for themselves, to, like, no, I'm going to die so you can get this cop out of here. Like, why does this suddenly matter so much?
Exactly. The contrivances of the script just creep in at the end here, and all of the, like, emotional beats that are happening just feel prescripted.
So they get then down to the lobby of the hotel, or the secret exit from the hotel, and then, they run into Zachary Quinto, who suddenly is down there waiting for them. But was it...
How?
Why? Was it, like... do we even see... I don't even think we see him finding his dead father, which would be a big character, because his whole character is just being obsessed with his dad.
Dave Bautista has a killer exchange with Zachary Quinto in that. He goes... you're what we call a slow code, and goes through this whole monologue. And this is, I think, like, where Drew Pearce's screenwriting and dialogue kind of shines, where he's like, slow codes are when a patient dies and we have to slowly break the news to their family, and they don't know that their family member has died yet, and we have to treat them with kid gloves and really make sure that they are okay with hearing the news. You're a slow code. And then he starts calling him slow code as kind of a taunt. And it's just like, fucking, I love this character, and I want to see Dave Bautista beat the shit out of Zachary Quinto. It's
good. I feel like Drew Pearce, like, I don't know, shadowed a nurse at a trauma center, or at least interviewed some medical professionals. Because, like, also the medical stuff that they're doing, or at least the jargon they're using, I get that it's future medical technology, but it does feel like this, like, there's some realness to this. So there was some research went in.
Yeah, agreed.
But anyway, so somehow Zachary Quinto has escaped from getting his ass kicked by Dave Bautista and is known to go downstairs to meet Sterling K. Brown and the nurse and Jenny Slate as they're leaving. And
because all the goons do overtake Dave Bautista at a certain point.
Somehow.
He's swinging axes. I mean, he takes down a bunch of them.
Oh, yeah.
But
as one would hope.
They, just kind of overtake him at a certain point, and that's the end of Dave Bautista.
One would hope that the Hotel Artemis would have more robust security than just, okay, the orderly is thick,
I don't,
like with 2 C's, and there's a strong gate. Like, there's not robo guns or anything else.
Yeah, I don't want to, it's not the time to go back into how this place actually operates with 2 staff members, but
do they take Sigma?
There are big questions there. There are big questions there.
Yeah. But yeah, on their way out, then they shoot Zachary Quinto with the 3D printed gun or something. I don't really remember how that ends. But then they put Jenny Slate back out on the street, so then that's, okay, so now it's just Sterling K. Brown and the nurse, and Sterling K. Brown has some getaway car stashed. Brian Tyree Henry, his brother, died because he did heroin while he was trying to recover from getting his organs swapped out.
He did elephant tranquilizer while he was while he was recovering, and then he was on life support and died because the power went out due to the explosion that Sophia Battia did to give her the opportunity to kill Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah.
Another thing that was like, oh, this introduces some really, interesting tension between 2 characters that is diffused as soon as it's introduced.
Yes, this fact that...
You killed my brother.
Yeah.
Well, blah, 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 blah. Well, I'm shot and we need to leave.
I know. It's like that's a weighty thing that with some space to breathe could really be interesting. I mean...
Yeah.
Also, I haven't mentioned it yet, but also Brian Tyree Henry, ladies and gentlemen, we don't deserve him. Paperboy himself, he's so good. Also, in 2018, the year that this movie came out, he was in 7 goddamn movies. This was the year that Brian Tyree Henry blew up.
I love this guy.
He's great. He's amazing. There's not enough of him in the movie, and it's a shame.
I'll extend that. I mean, I have a special love for him, but I will extend that to the entire cast with the exception of Zachary Quinto. I really, really individually like all of these actors.
Yeah, it's a likable...
Whether or not, I mean, they work together here, as we've been discussing, but I think any one of them, like, we talked about the Matthew McConaughey effect, Matthew McConaughey's name does not make me excited for a movie.
Mm-hmm.
If I saw any one of these names in a movie, I'd be like, "Oh, really? And them?"
Okay. Let's run down the list though. Speaking of Matthew McConaughey, could you see Jodie Foster as Dirk Pitt?
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. She could pull that off.
Like 1998 era Jodie Foster.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Give me that.
Brian Tyree Henry obviously could crush Dirk Pitt. Awesome.
Yeah. I'd love to give him the opportunity to be Dirk Pitt. He would be such a great Al Giordino, though.
Oh shit, you're right. He would be. We have to keep the ghost of Clive Cussler very far away from that script. 1998 Jeff Goldblum, Dirk Pitt, absolutely. No question.
Oh my God. The antithesis of what the masculinity of Dirk Pitt, but one that I want to see.
I want that. And Charlie Day, Al Giordino, absolutely. Dave Bautista, I could see him as Pitt. I could see him pitting it out.
He's more of a reacher.
Yeah, that's true. It would be a reach for him to be Pitt. He also says that he likes to take roles that challenge him to play against type, play against his, body size and things like that. So it would be a fun acting challenge for our boy Dave Bautista.
Okay. How about this? Charlie Day as Dirk Pitt and Dave Bautista as Al Giordino.
Okay, there you go. Talk about types. I'm into it. I'm there. I got sidetracked. They have killed Zachary Quinto. Jenny Slate safely walking away from the Hotel Artemis. Now it's Sterling K. Brown and the nurse, and they get out to this getaway car that Sterling K. Brown has stashed nearby. But then, and they're gonna like escape together. The riots are going nuts. It's crazy. It's just children of menning all over the place out there. But then the nurse is like, "Nah, I'm not gonna go with you. No, I'm not gonna go."
Well, let's hold on. Let's rewind a little bit, because this is where some of the like underpinnings of their backstory, I think, come in thematically.
Okay.
I'm not saying it is successful, but this is where her agoraphobia kind of comes in. She hasn't left the building in 22 years.
Yeah.
Or I guess at some point she says, I haven't left it in over 3 years.
Yeah.
But this ending is completely undercut of her. Like, they make a whole thing of her foot crossing the threshold, and like she's stepping outside for the first time. Motherfucker stepped outside earlier in the movie to bring Jenny Slate into the hotel.
Yeah, and she's clearly nervous about it and hates doing it.
Yeah.
But it's like, yeah, you did cut this one. Yeah, like it's not really that impressive to see her take this big step out.
The other thing is, Sterling K. Brown is saying, like, his brother has kept him from making the choices he would have made in life.
Yeah.
Because they're tied together, and his brother's always making bad choices, so he's always trying to get him out of, trouble. And this is the first time ever in his life that his choice is his own.
Yeah.
He can go anywhere. She asks him, where are you going to go now? And he's like, I don't know. This is the first time I can ever make this choice on my own. And it's weird. I don't really feel the loss of his brother in this moment. I don't really feel the loss of his brother at any point in this movie.
No.
And so, like, the fact that I should feel like a conflicted feeling of grief and remorse, but also like a burden that's been lifted.
Yeah.
And the movie's just telling me this. I don't feel it even a little bit.
That whole thing with this, like, my brother's always been holding me back and now I'm finally free. It does feel sort of like the kind of thing where I've gotten a note on a script and it's like, oh, there needs to be another character thing in here. That feels like a place where they went back in and kind of like wrote this into a few dialogue scenes, because it kind of just like comes out more in the second half of the movie that like, oh, actually my brother's been holding me back my whole life. My brother's kind of a fuck up and I've had to clean up after him. And it's like, oh, okay, whose idea was the botched bank robbery then? Like what happened here?
Yeah. So, I mean, the emotional weight of both of these characters at the end is completely undercut, I feel like. And so, as far as the logic of the nurse goes, what happens next makes no sense to me, even a little bit.
I hate this. It's so stupid. He's saying, okay, let's get in the car, let's go. And she's going like, nah, no, I'm not gonna go. I'm gonna stay. It's like a nice night. I'm gonna take a walk. And and he's like,
she's like, who's gonna stay and help people?
Yeah, it's like, city's fucked. Like,
like, also, you're agoraphobic. It didn't just cure itself in one step over a threshold. You're walking into the gas canister streets of LA that are on fire. You're gonna go help people. You are stepping back into the Hotel Artemis 10 minutes from now. You're just going right back to where you came from.
I don't know, Landon. In my experience, mental illnesses are cured by doing exactly one thing differently one time. Then, boom, you're golden. Because she specifically says, I'm not going to go back to the Hotel Artemis, but no, I'm not going to go with you. I'm going to stay here and help people. And like the last thing we see of her is her just like shuffling off into a cloud of dust with her medical bag. But it's like, well, where
are you going to go? You can't find, you're going to find housing elsewhere. Like, you live here. There's nothing wrong with the building.
Yeah.
Like, there's a safe home for you here. And why would you enter into the street? None of it makes sense.
Someone is going to hit you on the head with a pipe and take your medical bag full of Vicodin and then
which almost happens earlier in the movie.
I don't know. It's like, it is so much like, it's like, well, this is the thing that would happen in a noir movie, is the stoic main character walks off into the sunset.
Yes. What needs to happen is if she's going to stay behind, she breaks the rules. This is no longer a hospital for criminals. I'm going to start admitting people.
Yeah.
And I'm going to start finding people that can help
Yeah.
you know, cure and
Yes.
and, you know, help the wounded on a grander scale than just admitting 4 people at a time.
Yes, it's an actual hospital. Like, I'm going to, like, 'cause she worked at a community clinic before, it's like she's going to get her life back on track doing that. Also,
In fact, that brings up an interesting missing component that I didn't realize till just this second.
yeah.
What is the moral or superficial benefit of her in this world of administering help to only criminals and only 4 of them at a time? She doesn't seem rich. She doesn't seem like she wants, you know, the exclusivity, the anonymity. Like, she's agoraphobic, yeah, but like, she wants to help people. Why would she agree to this situation?
I think the impression I get is that she was really fucked up without, like, she'd thrown herself into her work at the clinic after her son died, and then she lost her license because she was too fucked up. And it's like, having a job, having people to care for is just like her deal, and that's what she does. And even if it's criminals, it's just that's the only thing she knows how to do. So I think it's a much stronger thing if the ending isn't, I'm just going to wander off into the sunset with the vague mission of helping, but rather, I'm going to take the institution of the Hotel Artemis that we've spent the whole movie talking about and turn it into a different kind of Hotel Artemis.
You're breaking the rules, and that's thematically, you know, rich.
Well, and also, just speaking of the...
You're changing the rules. You're changing the rules.
Oh, you're not breaking them, you're bending them and changing them.
You're transforming them.
Yeah.
The Wolf King is dead. Long live the king. Nurse King.
Yeah, they should have called the movie Nurse King. Boom. There you go. Computer Lady and Nurse King. But also to just the consequences, or what did it all mean of it all. So, you know, Dave Bautista has been fighting all the guys. We think that he's dead, but then as everyone is escaping from the Artemis, as Sterling K. Brown and the nurse are getting out of there, then we get a shot of Dave Bautista all wounded and fucked up, but like, he gets up, he's victorious, actually, he's survived, and he throws the switch to turn the lights of the Hotel Artemis sign back on. So implying that now he's the nurse, now he's running the Hotel Artemis. So they've broken all the rules.
There's a missing shot of him putting out the flipping over the for hire sign in the front window.
Yes, because
See, it's now seeking nurse.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Kenneth Choi from earlier comes back after getting thrown out, and now he becomes the nurse. But so the Hotel Artemis, they've broken all the rules, but the Hotel Artemis is still there, still doing Hotel Artemis stuff. So so all of this chaos, all of this pain and suffering and death didn't change anything. Also, Sophia Bottia has seemingly sacrificed herself to hold back another wave of thugs 5 minutes after Dave Bautista did the same thing. But during the end credits, we get a shot of a hallway and this like lithe figure running past, implying that she survived too. So really,
was it supposed to be her? I mean, like, there's no indication that
who else is gonna
that
be?
was her. It was just like there's movement in the Hotel Artemis. I didn't understand this mid-credit shot at all.
The Wikipedia suggests that that's supposed to be her, implying that she lived too. But what the movie is saying, though, at the end of all of this movie about loss, sacrifice, and everything, basically all the good guys live through it except for one, and all of the bad guys die. Like, so there's not, like, no one actually pays the ultimate price here. Everybody kind of gets exactly what they want. The Hotel Artemis doesn't go anywhere. So I don't know. It's just there's not... The movie is trying to have all this kind of weighty, heavy stuff going on, but in the end, everybody kind of just goes back to doing what they were doing, except the nurse is outside now.
For now.
For a few minutes.
I mean, do you feel like this was trying to set up a rich enough world to start a franchise, or at least a sequel?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, because she tells Sterling K. Brown, oh, there's another hotel in Vegas, you should go to that one, which...
Yeah.
Also doesn't make sense because Sterling K. Brown isn't injured. So, like, what? Okay, why are you going to go to a different hospital? You don't need that.
He is, though.
He is? Is he still injured?
He got shot.
Yeah, but I thought he was. But I thought she did magical medicine shit on him. Or is?
I think it was triage. It wasn't like the bullet might still be in. Like, he gets like he's shot at the beginning of the movie, and she does triage on him and shoots him full of like adrenaline stuff, and then as they're escaping, he gets wounded again in the side. So he's got like multiple wounds, and while they're getting ready to, by the getaway car, she patches him up again.
Right.
He's still wounded.
Okay, fair. I cannot, I hate the drive from LA to Vegas as it is. I cannot imagine doing that while being shot. And I think they were definitely trying to set up a sequel. I mean, wouldn't you say? I mean, all these allusions to the other hotels.
Well, okay, you're assigned to write the sequel to this movie. Do you write, I don't know, Hotel Apollo in Vegas, set in Vegas? Do you write Hotel Artemis? What happens to the LA hospital? Like, what's your pitch for the sequel?
I think that it is like Hotel Artemis, but it's for a very specific type of criminal. It's for bad dogs, and it's called Hotel for Dogs. I don't think anyone else has covered that specific kind of hotel-oriented content. So it's a 4-quadrant movie. You got something for everyone. You can bring the kids to see it.
One of the rules in order to get into Hotel for Dogs is must love dogs.
Yeah. Yeah, and the last rule is just who let the dogs out. It's an open question. I don't know where do you take the Hotel Artemis from here?
I'll admit, like, I'd be curious enough to watch a sequel to this. But I think my excitement for it would probably depend on the approach. Do I want to see Jodie Foster again? I mean, I always want to see Jodie Foster.
Yeah,
do I want to see the nurse character, or do I want to do kind of an anthology thing where we're setting up the similar vibe but with different characters in a different hotel? I feel like you'd be treading so much of the same water. Part of me is like, do a 28 years later sort of thing where it's like, forget the Hotel Artemis. Like, what is the nurse's story, Mad Max style, on the streets of LA? Like, let me follow her on her travels, like boy and a dog style, patching people up.
The thing is, I like the nurse, and I like the performance. I like the character. I don't like her as much if she doesn't have Dave Bautista there with her.
Well, that's the Act 1 twist. At the 20-minute mark, she discovers Dave Bautista's out there, and then they travel together. They're traveling companions.
I love that. She's just riding around on his back like Master Blaster.
I want to see that so bad.
There you go.
I would settle for just fan art of that.
Okay, listeners, you heard it. We've laid down the gauntlet. Dave Bautista and Jodie Foster as Master Blaster. In any orientation you want. Anyone can be Master, anyone can be Blaster.
I don't know why that tickles me so much.
Because we love them both so much. We love the nurse and we love Everest, and we just want them to be happy together.
Yeah. Let me go through a few odds and ends here, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the violence in this movie?
I don't know. I guess I don't have like a super strong opinion. I guess there's some violence in there. There's some cool ways to die.
It can be kind of grotesque at points.
Yeah.
Like, do you feel like the level of violence matches what the tone of this movie is?
I guess.
Like, Jeff Goldblum getting his neck like peeled apart, is pretty intense.
That is.
Charlie Day getting his head crushed is pretty intense.
It is a bit out of left field. It's cool, but it's out of left field. I mean, yeah, I guess the brutality of the violence in the movie doesn't live up to the fact that everybody winds up coming out of this thing pretty much okay. Like, it's presenting this world that's supposedly so brutal and sadistic and unforgiving, but then everybody gets kind of forgiven. Like, the people who have wandered into the Hotel Artemis are not killed to keep their secrets. They're just kind of let free. I guess the movie would have to be meaner for this violence to feel totally at home.
I feel like, there's kind of there's a classiness to these assassins and criminals that like doesn't doesn't match well with the brutality that they're showing.
Yeah, this is a movie where Sofia Boutella at one point shatters a ceramic mug and whips one of the shards of it super fast so that it impacts in the chair right next to Charlie Day's head. Like, it's the sort of assassins who can kill you with a peanut from 300 miles away or something. But then we get some of these kills that are like really desperate, No Country for Old Men, grinding it out kind of shit.
Yeah. It feels a little disconnected to me. I mean, I'm so jaded at this point that none of it really affects me, but I just kind of flagged as like, is this calibrated correctly? I'm not sure.
Yeah, the violence dial is turned up a little too high.
And speaking of that moment where she breaks the mug, I just want to, like, I think we've been pretty fair-handed about the good and the bad about this movie. But there's one, the writing of this movie specifically.
Yeah.
But there's one kind of, like, move that Drew Pearce does often that I think helps bring people into the experience of this movie.
Yeah.
And it's not my favorite. It's not my favorite thing. He uses echoes and repeating lines to mean different things often. And it feels super screenwriting. And I'll give you a few examples. Some of it's okay. Some of it's okay. Like, if you just gave me the line once, I would be fine. But calling it back then feels a little too cutesy. For instance, there's a scene between Charlie Day and the nurse, and she's patching it up, and he's like, I wanna watch the riots, my TV's broken, and he starts saying something about people that need water should buy it just like him, and they should, get jobs and whatever, being very racist and classist.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, really? Is that how you feel? And he's like, yeah, it's a circle of life. Hakuna Matata. Yeah. And
I love
like the scene continues.
He's watched The Lion King. He's a huge fan. He's seen the musical live on Broadway.
But this is 2028. He's only seen the live action version of it.
Yes, it's a true dystopia. People don't even know about the animated Lion King.
But so the scene continues for a few more, moments of interaction between them, and suddenly, like, because his TV's broken, she suggests, "Hey, the TV's outside in the lobby is, working. You can go watch it out there." And he's like, "You want me to go out there with the criminals? Like, I'm not gonna slum it with them." And she goes, "I don't know, Hakuna Matata," and like throwing his line back at him and walks out the door. And Charlie Day just goes, "Cute."
Yeah.
Calling what she did cute, and like to some degree it's kind of fun banter back and forth, but where I think it bothers me a little bit, it's more like kind of eye-rolly and cringe more than like a real trespass. But you're doing something and then you're calling it back, which is just really screenwriting, but then you're having a character comment on the cutesiness of it, and I'm like, just have her throw it back at you and don't comment on the fact that you called back your own script.
Does it maybe gall you so much because perhaps you did things like this in scripts that you wrote? Do you see echoes of your own?
I was never clever enough. I was never clever enough to do anything like that.
Cut it out. You cut it out. I don't know.
No, I honestly, dialogue was never really a strong suit of mine, and I don't think I could write an interaction like this. My flaw as a writer is I gave too much interiority and zero interaction between people.
You should have learned a lesson or two from Guy Ritchie and had just very, very shallow characters that would have helped you to like dial back that interiority.
But later on, like there's another moment of this where it's between Sterling K. Brown and Sofia Boutella, where right before that mug shattering scene, they have this kind of almost flirty, back and forth where he's explaining like Charlie Day's getting up in Sterling's face, and he goes, "Oh, if you think she needs protection, you don't even know. I'm the professional. I'm a professional, but she's the business." And that line comes back again later in a kind of different context, and I'm just like, okay, I get you're calling back back, but it's just like it's a little too. Look at my writing.
I look. I see that, and I'm like, ooh, I'm looking at your writing. Ooh, that's a clever bit. I don't know. I think again, we see so many movies for this and also just in the world that are just sketched on the back of a napkin, or they made it up on set that day, and just anything here where it's like, oh, hey, you used that line earlier, but now it's come back with a slightly different context. It's just sort of basic craftsmanship of writing a movie that that's not in Damsel, that's just not there. I don't.
Granted, no one looks at a map on a wall in this movie of the Hotel Artemis and says, "Okay, I am here," and all of the people died on their way to the exit, which is over here.
Yeah. I mean, maybe if they just jumped off the roof, they'd land on those soft, spongy rocks from Illyria or whatever, and they'd be fine. I don't know.
Which I just want to finish by saying. Even though I flagged all those lines as notes to talk about, I did write another note, which was, but I bet Truman's gonna love this shit.
Yep. You know me too well. The one thing, look, the one thing that I didn't love, though, that you would probably expect that I do love, there's a literal needle drop where they show at the beginning of the movie the needle on the record player.
That was my next point.
Dropping onto the thing, and I'm just
fuck this thing.
And it's like, so it starts playing, and she plays.
Paint this scene out, because I think people need to early. This is the first moment where I'm like, oh fuck, is this movie gonna be this? Is it gonna be like, we're fucking cool, we're making a cool movie? Because I'm allergic to that kind of movie. So paint the scene out. What happens here?
Early in the movie, at the beginning of the movie, we've got the nurse waking up to start this one crazy day at the Hotel Artemis, and she's getting her shit together, getting ready to do her rounds. She pulls out a 45 LP and puts it on a record player, because even in the future,
mamas and papas,
people still listen to records, and puts it on there, and it gets the needle all set up, close up on the needle. It drops onto the thing. All the leaves are brown, and she's walking around the hospital to California Dreamin' and doing her rounds and checking on stuff. And I see this and I'm immediately like, okay. I think of the Garth Marenghi's Dark Place bit where it's like, I know writers who use subtext and they're all cowards. Like, just I wouldn't mind the needle drop, but it's like, hey, this movie's set in a little place called California. I wonder what song would be appropriate.
You didn't even flag the most galling part of this, which is she wakes up, and you get that this is like part of her routine, but the sequence of events is, I wake up, I put this record on, I immediately walk out the door.
Yeah. So like, just playing to an empty room.
She has headphones on through this whole movie and listening to like anxiety tapes and stuff like that. Like, there's no reason there needs to be a record player, but even the choice of making it diegetic, the logic of it is immediately broken, because she puts the needle down and then walks out the door.
Yeah.
What? It's not like they set up some like technology where you set up the record in a home and you can listen to it remotely as you're walking around somewhere. Like, none of that's there. It's just she starts a record and walks out the door. And like, anyone who has ever engaged with a record player in their life is just like, why would you do that?
Yeah.
Who is listening to the song?
Yeah.
Your empty room is listening to the mamas and papas.
Why go to the trouble of having and maintaining a record player and a record collection if you're not going to be physically present in the room with it to listen to it?
Make it a cassette tape. Like,
yes.
She has headphones anyway. It can hang on her belt. Like, you can get the same shit across. This was the most like, why would you choose to do it this way?
Make it a Zune, Make it a hit clips.
Edit out the record part and just have the song start playing on the soundtrack. It does not need to be diegetic.
Yes. Sort of frustrating. I really just, as someone who doesn't own a record player, never really has had a record player, I don't know, it's just like, why does everything Why does every character in every movie have to be an audio file with a record collection? Can we imagine a world where people just listen to MP3s?
That said, there are a few music choices in here. I mean, yeah, I'm not a big fan of the Mamas and Papas, but there's I think it's when she is taking a moment to reflect on her son and like quell her anxiety.
Yeah.
And she starts listening to Buffy St. Marie. There's this track that they use, and it's like incredibly beautiful, kind of obscure track. And I'm like, it's called Helpless. And that is where I'm like, okay, cool. You're not using fucking Tarantino needle drops. You're actually doing something that is, I don't know, thematically appropriate and a little bit cool because it's not like on the nose.
Yeah, sure. No, props for that. Props for that subsequent needle drop. And also props to the movie for doing a somewhat cringe needle drop at the beginning, but then recovering from that. Like I saw that and I'm immediately ready to not like the movie, but the movie won me back pretty quickly. It
did, yeah. And to bring it back around and maybe start to close out this conversation,
Great.
Like where it brought me back right after that is when she's going to the gate. And this opening scene where Sterling K. Brown, Brian Tyree Henry, Kenneth Choi are in the lobby, and she's setting down the rules of like, here you can enter, you can't enter, put your guns away. You know, there's arguing, they're dying. She's holding the ground of the rules of the place. Like, it's a great strength of the movie to set up the world building. I think the world building, the logic of it doesn't really hold water a lot of times, but the texture of the world that he builds is rich and something I wanna like live in and experience. It's fun.
Yeah.
And I think it's very strongly set up.
Yes, I agree. Again, it's a thing that I think Reminiscence wanted to be, that this actually succeeds at.
You keep bringing that up.
Well, it's thematically similar, Landon. You know, you have this issue with me talking about other conversations we've had about movies. Well,
it's Reminiscence.
Okay. I'm just like it creates a world that is, yes, sort of fun to be in and sort of fun to think about. And I think the best thing that I can say for this movie is that watching it moment to moment, scene to scene, even in its weaker moments, its weaker bits, there's always something interesting going on. There's always something that you're kind of invested in on a character level, and the movie does such a good job of presenting you with interesting and entertaining things constantly that you don't notice all the other stuff that isn't working until you're thinking about it after you've left the theater or closed your laptop. And that's movie magic, baby. Like if you can
Absolutely.
If you can keep people thinking that it's working until after the credits have ended and that's when they realize it didn't work,
yes,
you've won as a writer.
I completely agree with that. As a filmmaker, yeah, the second you start questioning it in the moment and it's making you disconnect from it, like that's where the problems creep in. But you're right, and I do think it's a collaborative effort here, because with different actors, with a different script, like anything could disconnect me from this movie. But I think the actors are calibrated correctly to their performances, and they're given enough backstory to play, and it's an interesting enough world, and it's, you know, well realized in terms of the production design and the costuming. Like, there's just enough to keep me invested all the way through. So I guess this kind of is a good natural segue to, with all of that said, why do you think this was forgotten?
You know, I think this was forgotten because it's, at the end of the day, it's just a bunch of side dishes. You know, there's a bunch of... Those are my favorite meals are made of side dishes. Yeah,
that's what I do for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, no, I mean, I get it. Everybody likes the side dishes, but if there's not a main course, ultimately, I think people are going to be left a little hungry, even if they didn't necessarily want to have the turkey. I mean, it's... you know, just because it's not all in service of some greater thing, because the rules never mean anything, because the story of the Hotel Artemis doesn't really mean anything. It's just a bunch of interesting little character studies. I just think it's not a thing that audiences could really lock into as something they remember. And I think that also because a lot of it takes place indoors in kind of a bunch of samey looking locations, the trailer probably is not that interesting, so you don't get people in the theater in the first place. And the ones who do show up, it's not like a thing that you walk home from or take the bus or drive home from. I don't know. You go home from and tell all your friends, "Oh my God, I saw Hotel Artemis. What's it about?" "It's about this." Well, it's like, this movie's not really about any one thing. Like, it's kind of about a bunch of little different things, and that's, I don't know. It's hard to go away with a fully formed picture in your mind or in your memory of what that is.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah.
If you're sitting in a theater and you see this trailer, do you lean over to the person next to you and say, "Oh, we got to see that when it comes out"? I think that is like indicative of the theater culture at the time, because as we said when talking about the top 10, partly is this like the worst fucking weekend to release it with Deadpool 2 and Infinity War in theaters.
Yeah.
But also just the kind of decline of $15 million level movies where it's like, it isn't a big enough event to go see. Like, am I going to see Hotel Artemis or am I going to see Infinity War for the third time?
Yeah.
That's just kind of like the height of fandom and internet speculative culture, people tweeting about things. Like, this movie doesn't reach the zeitgeist.
Yeah.
That said, I will say the trailer, though, while it may or may not excite you or a certain sex of people, like, I think my memory of it really set the table for what this was. And I think in a different theater culture where it's like you can, as an audience member, take more risks about what you see.
Yeah.
Whether it's due to the cost of a ticket or just the amount of air in the room that isn't being sucked out by superhero discourse.
Yeah.
Could have benefited from that, and it didn't because of when it was released.
Yeah.
But I also think, like, this is, at the time, I think people were a little fatigued by sci-fi neo-noir.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so all of those things just kind of, like, worked against what could have been a successful movie in another time. Which segues us to our verdict. And I'm going to let you go first. Because I'm still working something out in my head. But do you think we should send this back to modern memory or leave it forgotten?
I think we should absolutely send this back to modern memory. I think this movie, it has its flaws, certainly. It is not a great film. It is not The Rundown, to be sure. But there's so much that is enjoyable in it just to watch in terms of actors who we like doing great work. There's so much in here to enjoy about clever writing, clever dialogue, even if certain hard-boiled cynics on this podcast think that it's too clever by half. I
certain dialogue choices.
I don't know. I think this is just a great example of, like, this is a good B movie that has an A-list cast. And I wish we made more movies that could be pretty okay movies that cost $15 million.
I am going to co-sign.
Good.
I think we should send this back to modern memory. I did not know what my verdict was going to be until that very moment that I said it. And you kind of solidified it for me in my head. My brain was like, is this like cult movie material that just hasn't like caught on as a cult movie yet? And I think it is. To all of the arguments you just made, I think it's like, there's no room for B movies anymore. And the B movies are typically what become the cult favorites. I'm not saying this is going to be someone's favorite film, but I think that anyone who gives this a shot is going to be like, okay. My time wasn't misspent. It's short. It's short. Entertaining throughout. There's more to it than, your average sci-fi psycho thriller. It's like, I don't know. Yeah, I agree. This needs to be sent back, and I would make a case for anyone to seek this out.
Yeah. I don't know if I would necessarily call this like a cult film, because I don't know that it's a weird enough B movie to be a cult film. I think a better example of a B movie that's become a cult film is the movie B Movie, which has now found cult fandom online because of the inherent weirdness of that movie.
Yeah.
This movie is kind of like too competent and a little too down the middle to be like quirky cult film level, but it's certainly like sleeper hit level, or I don't know, quietly good movie level.
I mean, I don't think a movie needs to be weird to be a cult movie. I mean, there's tons of like erotic thrillers from the 80s and 90s that are starting to come up as cult movies. There's this, I don't know why, there's no really thematic connection at all, but I just watched a movie recently called Stormy Monday.
Sounds like a drink.
Which is like this brilliant little British crime thriller. And it's not weird at all, but it's definitely a cult movie now, just because it is developing a smaller audience that comes, long after it's in the zeitgeist, or if it ever was in the zeitgeist. It's just there's a small, passionate following of people for a movie, and I think this film could develop that.
Huh. Maybe we're at the vanguard of that small, passionate following. Maybe we're gonna wander off into the dust of these riot-filled streets and lead that new fandom to the promised land in Las Vegas.
For some reason, I don't think Arrow Video is going to be knocking down our door to use this episode as one of their commentary tracks on their eventual release of Hotel Artemis, but I would be very happy to be leading that vanguard.
Oh my god, yeah. Put us, anybody, have us record a commentary to put on the special features of your movie. A, we're just excited that anybody's releasing physical media. B, we have plenty of things to say about every movie we watch.
All right, well, until next week when we wrap up some of the odds and ends for Hotel Artemis, for Truman Caps, I have been Landon Solano.
And for Landon Solano, I've been Truman Caps. Now, don't get up to leave. We're going to wheel you out of the hospital in a wheelchair for insurance purposes.
Whoa!
Movie Memory Machine is part of the Gruntwork Podcast Network. Join our Patreon at patreon.com/gruntworkpod to keep the machine running. Theme song by Porky's Groove Machine. Rate us on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen. For more information on today's show, visit MovieMemoryMachine.com.